What's up, Conkers? We are gonna do a coaching review today for our friend Zelda. Oh, let's get Zelda back in here. So obviously a lot of Zeldas in here, so I normally have to go through and find the correct one. So if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Will help the channel. So we're gonna see how we can help Zelda here. We're gonna watch a game between Ayyubid and English. So it looks like Zelda's already made a lot of improvement from last season to this season. So we can kind of scroll through the season, see, you know, you were at Platinum pretty solidly at Platinum. And didn't play as many games last season. You didn't play as many games. So sometimes the game can be streaky. You go on a win streak, you go on a lose streak. And so you ended up at gold. But now back to diamond for this season, which is pretty good. So we'll take a look at your game here against English. It's kind of a hard matchup for Ayyubid's English, that is. I've even seen some of the, in the EGC TV tournaments, some of the pros have trouble dealing with English players when they're playing Ayyubid just because of the longbow rush. So we're going to go to 4 speed here. Let's actually look at your scouting pattern. Yeah, the only thing I would say with your scout, you generally don't want to cover the same area twice. And so it's normally better to kind of like go out. Actually, Beastie has an old video about how you should scout, but it's normally best to go out and then circle back around. You can go a lot longer actually since you're playing Ayyubid because you can just go on the berries, you can go on the sheep. So actually this might be fine. You can just go out this way, then circle all the way around. Because you already have berries and you're not worried about your sheep running out. It's actually fine what you did. So I am interested to see what the English player is doing here. I would have liked if you had on your way past scouted what landmark he was going for. Right now we can't really see what landmark he has. It's pretty important to know whether he's going longbows or whether he's going Abbey of Kings. Because then we know whether we need to be ready for Spear Longbow Rush or if we need to be ready for the King. So the Desert Raiders can deal with the King. The Desert Raiders cannot deal with a Longbow Rush is the kind of the thing. So it looks like you're probably getting stoned for arrow slits. And because we know he can make longbows, normally this would be fine. What it is going to allow the enemy to do, though, since your tower's a bit behind here, I've played English a lot, so I know this, is if he gets to this side, he's going to be able to shoot your gold villagers. So I wouldn't be afraid if I were you to put, like, if you're playing against a French guy and he's just got knights, you want your towers being as close to your villagers as you can. If you're playing against an English guy or someone who's going to try to harass us with archers, you kind of want your tower maybe right here. And once you get the arrow splits, that's what's going to give you the biggest radius. So he still might be able to get like right here and shoot your villagers, right? But then you can kind of get closer to your tower on this side to mine. Also, if he's all the way back here with longbows, chances you can probably just kill him with your own units at that point. So you went up with military wing, which I think is fine. So again, the arrow slits is important because it's going to give your tower extra range. But if we had it out here, it's harder for the longbows to get behind us. Right now, if the longbows are out here in this range, they can shoot you. So we're going to go to reveal all map now. He's actually going horseman to deal with your desert raider, which is interesting. I mean, it does work. It's quite effective. but I probably would have just built longbows if I was him. So let's just see how this game opens up. So you lost a Desert Raider here under the town center. You don't want to lose any. It's kind of an unforced error. You don't want to lose any units by mistake. So he's gone king and horseman. I assume he's, yeah, going to try to dive your gold mine some. So here's some base defense, I guess I could offer here is how to protect yourself better against what just happened. So he looks like he's going fast castle. I don't know if that's actually his plan or if he's just doing a really bad job of macroing his economy. But some tips. Let's say you've got your one Desert Raider, and again, you should have two, but you lost one in the town center. So let's say you should have two Desert Raiders. You could do some small walls, like just a wall out here. Just a wall out here. So, or you could do a wall all the way on the back. But if you did two small walls, you'll protect the wood line. And the king would have to run under the town center to attack your wood line. Because right now you have one Desert Raider. You've either got to put him on the gold or on the wood. And you have a tower on the gold, but you've got too many villagers to garrison. So there's kind of a couple options. One is the small walls, and then you just focus on protecting the gold. Two is you actually build a second tower, which if he went longbows would be very good for defense. So let's say the first tower out here has arrow slits. The second tower you put up here does not have arrow slits. It's just for that extra garrison room, and if longbows get cheeky and they come on this side, then you can garrison the tower. Would also save you from the problem of the king can kind of dive the tower. King can dive the tower, then sit out here and heal. And so you'll have all the garrison space. So now he's going to kind of rotate and try to bug you in the other area. Yeah, he's going fast castle. And see, again, he's being really annoying here. If we just had a... That was a good kill on the king. But if we just had tiny little walls here, forces the king to have to run around the town center. So you aged up. So I want to see what your age up plan is, right? So anytime we go fast castle, you should be going into Camel Lancers immediately. And the other thing you should be doing pretty soon, if not instantly, is throwing down a mosque and going to grab the farthest out relics. Like, we want to get dervishes out, and we want to grab the relics that are farthest away from us. Because we can always get the relics that are close to us later, right? We want to try to get the contested relics first, then get the ones that are safe. So you aged up with villagers, so we should be doing pretty well there. You're probably going to need more guys on food right now. You don't have enough guys on food. There you go, more guys on food. And since if you start floating gold, start thinking about upgrades, right? Start floating gold. Go ahead, grab your wheelbarrow. Get the moss down, get the dervishes out, and then focus on getting a blacksmith for your +1 ranged armor. So he's going to go to TC here with King's Palace. And so I want to see if we can get any raiding done with these Camel Lancers. It's going to be hard now that he's got a second town center. But he does have guys on berries, right? But we just don't want to make sure we don't lose anybody to the TCs here. He's walled up the backside. So you're getting your first dervish out, which is great. Another small tip, I would not put the mosque at the front of the base, because if they attack you, this is where they're going to attack, right? So I'd put the mosque back here where it's more protected. So this is kind of typical English, right? So what do? English guys wall it up. He's turtled. He's making his own knights. He's going to start making spearmen, crossbow, and we just can't get in the base. So one thing that's important is if he's sitting on 2 town center, there's... Let me rephrase, and you kind of have 2 paths from this point. One is you really just kind of go all in with your Castle Age timing push, and you try to win the game. Which, if you got 7 Camel Lancers out and he doesn't have up spears yet, I think the main thing is you would need your ranged armor upgrades. But you could get in here and kill a lot of villagers, right? He doesn't have garrison space for all these villagers, and you could kill a lot of them. He's only got a knight and a horseman. So the second thing is, if he's going to sit there on 2 town centers and turtle, we want to get all these relics. So we want to guard the dervishes, get all the relics, and then if he's still just condensed in there, again, you can either build up an army and try to kill him, or you can throw down a second town center yourself and kind of match his economy that's scaling, right? So you can kind of do both. We want to keep our units active back here. So even if our Camel Lancers can't necessarily get kills, we want to kind of pretend charge in here, idle the gold villagers, pull them out. Pretend charge, idle villagers, pull them back. And you want to do that over and over again. For instance, you know, these farmers kind of far outside town center range, you can do that over and over again. I do think one of the things you're really missing right now is a blacksmith. And probably some palisades. I wouldn't hate to see you palisade off, like, with how these wood lines are. Small wall, wall here, wall to the gold mine, wall from here to the gold mine, and, like, your entire base is basically safe, right? So let's hit villagers. Now he's starting to get his a couple spearmen up. He's building longbows, actually, which is not going to do him any good right now. But look at these villagers. So, again, one thing when I talk, it's very easy in God mode to kind of see what you should have done, what you shouldn't have done. It's much harder in game, right? So I understand that. I miss villagers on the map all the time when I'm playing in a game. I think what we need here with us is a scout. We need to be scouting out and seeing what the enemy's doing. So, yeah, good hit here. We don't want to take a full fight under the town center. We can kind of pull them out and take the fight. So if you see he's going spearman here, it's kind of 2 avenues you could take. One, you just keep building Camel Lancers. If once he builds a lot of spearmen, it'll be a problem. But if it's 5, like, a significant amount of Camel Lancers are just going to kill him. 2, you make archers to kill him. 3, you can mix in some ghulams, and those will take care of them. So, I like that we're grabbing our relics. How many relics we got right now? Why do you not have... Okay, there's the relics coming back. Yeah, I would say you've been in castle quite a while, so we definitely want to have had the first relic secured by now. But here come 2. There should be a 3rd on the way. That's very good. Then hopefully we pick up these last few. So I think we're rallying our resources into the base. You pulled your guys back out. What's interesting in this position is I think you could have won the game right here. If you look at the amount of resources you have versus what he has in his base. So, if, one, we need our +1 upgrades pretty bad. I think we just need all of our upgrades in general. Yeah, I think maybe upgrades is something you need to focus on. We could probably make that a key takeaway. It's fine to not get the base economic upgrades when you go fast castle, but once you're in castle, you really need them. So, wheelbarrow is huge. You know, we got 18 villagers on wood. Let's see how many villagers we have on each resource. So 18 on food, 15 wood, 10 gold, 7 on stone. I would say anytime you have 10 villagers on a resource, you need to go ahead and get the upgrade. So wheelbarrow for sure, double broadaxe, mining upgrade, you should get all those. If once you hit castle, if you've got 10 or more villagers on a resource, you need to start thinking about getting the upgrade. And if you had already had +2 ranged armor, I think you could just dive this base and kill a lot of villagers. You can't right now because you're going to take a lot of damage from the town centers. But if you had the upgrades, you could. He's just not making a lot of military here. His economy doesn't look very good. And so again, I think if you're scouting this and you see him going heavier into spearmen, yeah, there you go. You start making archers of your own. Archers or ghulams, or both, right? So, yeah, I think right now you just kind of need to make a siege of his base. Secure the gold on the map. We want to make sure we secure gold. Anytime English player turtles like this, one, we don't want to let his eco outscale us. We want to get all the relics and sacred sites, which I think you've done a good job here. Second town center's fine. You probably get some palisades up. This kind of sounds silly, and a lot of people would disagree with this, but when someone turtles really hard like this, a lot of the time I'll wall them into their base. I'll wall this side, and then he can't leave. And then I'll wall right here, and then I'll just have my units out here. So I'll know when he's trying to leave the base or not. I like that you're capturing the sacred sites. Let's put him on a timer, right? If he's going to sit in his base, he needs to come out here and fight. So, yeah, I like going with a mixed comp here, so I wouldn't hate to see you mix in, like I said, ghulams or spearmen. Because he's kind of going with a mixed comp, so he's going to be able to deal with the camel lancers with spearman crossbow. And if he adds in a lot of horsemen, he can deal with the archers. So I'm interested to see how this game goes, because you have full control of the game right now. And you should be able to beat him. So again, we got our double blacksmith here. We just need to get the upgrades. Pretty bad. And now I just think we need to take a good fight. So he's kind of grouping up here. So if we're going to take a big fight, we want to make sure we have all of our units. With good micro, you should win this fight. So we just don't want to sacrifice our archers. We want to get our archers to take all the spearmen down. And I think if you commit to this, you'll win this. You're kind of leaving your archers here. But you would have won that if the camel lancers had charged in. So crossbows are good against heavy units, of course. But in that situation, they have nothing to guard them, and you would have killed them. So, so for instance, here's an example. A crossbowman is not going to kill a camel lancer one-on-one. Two crossbowmen will probably not kill a camel lancer one-on-one. Okay? So, if he's got no front line, you have a large amount of camel lancers. While your archers were still there, I think you could have taken that for sure. And now we're going to let him take back our sacred site, which, since he didn't have, now he's kind of getting some more spearmen in here, and we're going to fight in a choke point, which the choke point's dangerous. We don't really want to fight in that closed off area. And now we need our archers in the fight. So I like this raid. It's a good raid. If he's fighting us in the middle, we feel like we're losing, let's raid the flanks. So like hit villagers here, run back, hit more, run back, hit more. Main thing is he's trying to expand out of this gold. We need to keep him off gold. And I think you're doing the right thing by making a lot of archers. Archers and horsemen right now. And you're transitioning into farms, which is going to hurt you a little bit. Yeah, but you've killed 15 villagers in this game. And you're on 2 town center, 5 relics, so you should be able to win this. Your army's kind of posturing on the defensive here. I would stay a little closer to the sacred site. And you're finally getting your upgrades, which is big. Again, I'm looking at the numbers right now, and I'm saying you should win this fight. But he's slowly building. I mean, his army's getting better. And he's got a lot more food income than you do. So finally getting some of our more basic upgrades. So one thing I have noticed is you're floating a lot of gold. If you have 4,000 gold and no food, there's nothing wrong with putting down a market and buying some food. Let's see if you buy food. Because that's what you should do here. Now his army's kind of matched yours. You've kind of lost control of the game here. And he's probably going to be able to clean this up. We just want to keep rallying guys out of this battle at the sacred site. We don't want to over pursue the archers without our own archers. And again, we got 5,000 gold. We need to buy up food right now. And now he's kind of shredding your archers on the back line. So I think key things, and the reason you lost this game is like, there was kind of multiple instances where the first time you kind of left your archers to die, there were a couple times you didn't have your whole army fighting together, if that makes sense. And we're floating a lot of gold. I think you could buy like 2,000 food right now, and if you had produced more units before you went into that, I think you probably win. Sometimes the other thing I do, I know mangonels are not what they once were, but if I'm floating that much gold and wood before that big fight, I'll throw down like 3 mangonels, man. Can you imagine that fight if you had 3 mangonels? He would not have been able to push in on you. So I think he's got you now. You do have more economy, but he's kind of got your military mass down. Your food economy is not good. And he's mostly just got a ranged mass that's pushing you back. And we were 2 to 3 minutes away from victory there. And I think that's going to be pretty much the game. Because now I would assume he's going to make a push, but and we don't have walls or anything out here, which if you're 27 minutes in the game, you got to try to throw down some walls. Even if it's just palisade, they don't have to be stone. Late game, you got to get stone, but yeah, and I would like to see more raiding with the Camel Lancers, but of course he's pretty palisaded up, so can't get hard to raid. When he pushes on you like this, yeah, he's gonna get some good villager kills here, and it's gonna be hard for us to take a fight at this point. Because what's gonna happen in the fight is our archers are gonna end up shooting these men-at-arms a lot, and he's got a good front right now. Oh, now you're throwing down the mangoes. Let's should see how this big fight goes with your mangoes. See if you can get good shots in. Oh, he's going imp though. Oh, good spot for it too. So one thing I was just noticing is when you had the map control, he was able, after those couple fights, to take the map control back. And now he can get out on the gold. You kind of had the English guy where he was locked in, right? And he had one gold mine left for a bit. And so you had control to kind of wall off the map and say, like, hey, you're stuck in your base. Yeah, once he gets these Imperial upgrades. One thing we want to, because I'm watching it, I know that was super fast. Your archers are all shooting these men-at-arms. And if we have basic archers at this point, like just the normal archer, we want them shooting spearmen or we want them shooting crossbows. And you can take your archers and right-click on a crossbow and just shift-click through them all. Because right now they're shooting men-at-arms and they're not going to kill men-at-arms. The men-at-arms have too much armor for normal archers to take them out like that. So, I mean, still, if we could get some big shots, that was a big shot. But now he's in Imperial Age. And you're probably not going to be able to push into this Berkshire. So, I think I don't want to watch the whole late game here because I think you could have already won the game. So, I think key takeaways is you did a really good job. You got all 5 relics. That was huge. You didn't let him out eco you. So, when you hit castle, you either could have gone for just a timing push to kill him at castle. That's what I would do personally. I'm an aggressive player. If I go to castle, I'm then going to try to do a death push and kill you. But if you decide not to do that, just do some raiding, then you got to get the second TC down and out eco him. So, looks like you have gotten some of your upgrades at this point. We're still without our mining technology. But I think a big thing early that would have helped you in some of those fights was your blacksmith upgrades and your eco upgrades. So when you're going to castle, you're doing fast castle, you obviously want to get there as fast as possible. So you don't really have to get those while you're doing fast castle. But once you've gotten in castle, you've pumped out your couple Camel Lancers, you for sure need the +1 upgrade. And then you need to go ahead and get your wheelbarrow, your double broad axe, your horticulture, your specialized pick, your +2 range defense. And kind of what we're doing is we're trying to hit him with these Camel Lancers and keep him in his base while we pick up all the relics, we get all of our upgrades, and then we kind of go for a death push. There was definitely an opening there where he had like 5 spearmen, a horseman, and a couple longbows, and you had like 10 Camel Lancers. And if you had your +2 ranged armor, you could have gone in there and just cleaned that dude out. And then there were a few times in the middle fighting over this sacred site where I think if you had gotten your whole army to fight at the same time, you probably could have gotten a sacred site victory just through some better engagements. And maybe another key takeaway for you is just in those fights, a lot of the time I'm forgetting the term for it, but you use A, you use A and you attack move. That's the term for it. So you attack move, all of your guys go in. I normally start the battle with that. And then you want to kind of double click your archers. And you want to micro your archers to shoot spearmen, to shoot crossbows. While your other units, Camel Lancers, kind of clean everybody else up. So I think that's what you could have done better to win this game. I think this game in particular is definitely a game you could have won. I feel like you had the momentum. You for sure had map control. This guy got kind of locked into his base when he first hit castle. He was low on resources. He only had 1 gold back here. And I did feel like that, if you were going to strike, was either the time to strike and do a death push, or to really secure, like, wall up the map, secure the sacred sites, take good fights on the sacred sites, and win. So I hope that video was helpful, and if you have any questions for me, just let me know in the comments and happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, y'all.